Good evening again. I'm just starting to share my screen. So I shall briefly introduce the concept of researcher and author profiles so that probably at the end of the session, each one of you can make your own profiles to track your publications, their citations and the like. So we shall briefly look at what researcher and author profiles are, what are metrics in the context of researcher author profiles, and then conclude. So publication is the first step. As Dr. Goel said, that after publication, what happens is very important and often ignored, because identification and appropriate attribution of credit to an author is important. Citations reflect the value of one's work, and how does one contribute? How can you quantitate your contribution to science? Bibliographic databases provide a platform where suitable journals can be identified by prospective authors, as well as enable searching to identify appropriate scientific content. So researcher and author profiles are the first step to this. The same author may be attributed using different names in different publications. For example, John Herbert Smith may be J. H. Smith, John H. Smith, John Herbert together Smith, or J. Smith. And certain names may be very common. For example, John is quite a common name in the West. So how can an author ensure that all such publications listed with slightly different names are appropriately accredited to themselves? Here, researcher and author profiles are useful, and databases and search engines like PubMed, Scopus, Google Scholar, etc. They help in creating such collated profiles. And another important development in this context is ORCID and Researcher ID. Also, you can have profiles on social media sites for researchers like ResearchGate or academia.edu. So they help properly attribute authorship credit. That is, authorship disambiguation is another terminology that's used to describe this. Verify the credentials of a potential reviewer or editor for a journal. For example, if say somebody is listed by your name as the author of a paper, and the editor or reviewer of a journal wants to know whether this person is authentic, if it is linked to a researcher or author ID, then they can go and see your profile and see that you have been working in this particular field, and therefore your research is more likely to be authentic than somebody who's researching this for the first time, and also improve the visibility of one's research output and boost its impact. So what are the features of an optimal researcher author profile? It should be freely available and should be able to be made without any charges, should have unique author identifiers, preferably have user photographs and facility to include video materials, should have bibliographic notes, keywords so that people can identify what areas you're working on, records of published items, peer reviewer activities, contributions at professional meetings, integration with multidisciplinary and specialist bibliographic databases, uh, provide facilities for integrating with social network sites, archive scholarly articles for open access, provide updates on citations and on alternative metrics like altmetrics, as Dr. Goel was telling about, validation tools for profiling, uploading quality articles and verifying copyrights and filtering potentially damaging information, and privacy tools for securing online profiling, commenting and sharing messages. This is facilitated by sites such as ResearchGate and academia.edu, which also serve as kind of social media sites for researchers. So you can use these various websites for creating scholarly profiles. You can create researcher ID at this website. Google Scholar, just go to Google Scholar and you can create your own account. ORCID is a freely available open researcher and contributor ID, helps attribute appropriately your work, provided you link it to the ORCID ID. And there are various others as well, like Kudos and Science Open. Publons is an important initiative for peer reviewers. Conventionally, peer reviewers did the work in the background. Nobody knew that somebody was serving as a peer reviewer and doing so much of work in the background, because generally peer reviewers are neither mentioned in articles, nor do they get to list their reviewer credentials in a verified manner. Publons is very important in that all of you who are peer reviewing should create a Publons account so that you can link all your reviews to Publons, and you can at a later date, you can aggregate all those reviews and attach it in your promotion interview, during your job interviews and the like, so that you can get credit for all your reviews. And these reviews can be verified by editors so that people know that you've actually reviewed for a journal. ResearchGate is another commonly used website. It's more of a social networking website, and you can share and discuss about publications. So also academia.edu. Mendeley is an important reference management tool. It's linked to Zotero, and Mendeley also provides the facility for bookmarking articles. And these can be accessed by other people who are using Mendeley. So different author IDs are Scopus author identifiers. Scopus is a database that is provided by Elsevier and contains a lot of journals whose quality measures are assured, and these are repeatedly reviewed at intervals to ensure that journals are up to date with their standards if they are continuing to be listed on Scopus. Researcher ID is used by the Web of Science, which is another such database which dynamically reviews journals for indexing and keeps those journals that continue to maintain the good journal profile. And this again relies on author self-identification. I shall take you through PubMed, which is a site that most of us in India use. And you can create your own bibliography or even your Science CV profile through your PubMed account. Google Scholar is another important freely available tool that I would suggest that all of you should have your Google Scholar account so that you can track your articles and your citations. ResearchGate, many of you must be using. It is also a very useful tool for creating an author ID, and also particularly helps you get publications that may not otherwise be accessible, in the sense that you can contact the authors directly through ResearchGate and they can send them your papers so that you can access it even if you don't have access through your institution or hospital. And similarly, academia.edu also plays an important role in this manner, akin to ResearchGate. So Publons is a peer reviewer profile. Initially was a startup, now bought by Clarivate Analytics, the same company that gives you the journal fact factor from the journal citation reports. It provides a platform for listing peer review activities. Authors can also manually add their peer review activity or send an email with their peer review receipt so that the Publons automatically adds it to their account, which is linked to the email. And many journals now automatically upload the reviewer information with your permission to Publons, to link to your Publons profile so that your reviewer credits can be appropriately provided. And reviews can be kept closed or open depending on your preference and depending on journal preferences. It's important to understand not to violate journal review policies. If a journal has blind review, then do not reveal your identity. You can download a peer review report from Publons, attach it to your job interview attachment, and editors can also search Publons based on subject areas to identify potential reviewers. So it's an important tool for editors as well. ORCID is the Open Researcher and Contributor ID and can be created by the authors and linked to their publications. And ORCID and Publons can be integrated with each other, and you can also provide a list of keywords and biographical sketches, and it provides a means of collating all your publications linked to your ORCID ID. So how do we create a PubMed profile? If you go to the PubMed webpage as of today, here, as you can see in this corner, you have an option to log in. And once you press this, you get to here. So here, if you do not have a login ID, you can create one. Otherwise, you can log in using your ID and password. And this takes you to your account, which if you select, now you can have your dashboard where you have your publications in your bibliography. You can have your account settings. You can find out what searches you have conducted on PubMed. So it's a good idea to continuously be logged into PubMed so that you can have a record of what you have searched for and what are your publications, so that you can later on download this also and you don't need to make this list manually. You can just download it from the website and use it in your CV. This is a sample Google Scholar profile, and here you can see that it provides you the H index and I-10 index and number of citations over the past 5 years and overall as well. So this gives you a lot of information about the analysis of your citations. Metrics in the context of researcher author profiles. If you had looked at the Google Scholar profile, there was the H index and the I-10 index. And why metrics are important? Because they show of academic accomplishments, interact with potential collaborators, and to successfully compete for funding and collaboration. But it's important to understand that metrics could be at the level of the journal or at the level of the author. And briefly, as Dr. Goel has already spoken, the journal metrics are the journal impact factor, IGEN factor, SCImago journal rank, and the like. And author metrics could be total publications, total citations, H index, I-10 index commonly, and various others as well. And what is important to note with respect to author profile and metrics is that author metrics vary with database. I may have 10 publications available on PubMed. If I go to Scopus, I may have 15 publications available. And therefore, the number of citations to their publications on a different database could be different. Therefore, it's important to mention in one CV which database the citation metrics have been derived from. And Google generally includes citations anywhere, including web pages, leaflets that are available, accessible on the web. These are less reliable, but most accessible. And Scopus generally indexes citations in journals. And your H index, I-10 index, and other metrics could very well vary depending on whether you're using Google Scholar, Scopus, or Web of Science, as shown in this example. So to conclude, creating and using an ORCID ID is preferable for all stakeholders in scientific publishing, and the impact factor is just another journal metric often misused, and H index, I-10 index are author metrics. Medline, Scopus, Web of Science are reputable databases, and you can create your own profile on that, and you can access your details using these websites. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Durga. Time for us to take a few questions.